Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
And that breaking news is a water main break has a section of road in Durham closed right now. We will take you out to the restoration efforts that are underway.
And more showers and storms today. After those showers and storms move out, the cold front passes, some cooler and drier air will break down that weekend outlook. Coming up.
New tariffs ahead. President Donald Trump's next round of taxes on imports goes in place next week. Well, how big of a difference they could make in how much we're all paying at the store. Straight up 8 o'clock here on Fox 50. It's kind of a murky start to our Friday here. The heat will not be in place like it's been all week long. Grant Skinner's in the WRAL Severe Weather Center right now. This is part of our transition to the weekend.
Yeah, we're transitioning to more of a cooler and drier pattern. Looking forward to it because it's been very, very hot and humid out there. It's warm and humid this morning and will be a bit cooler by this afternoon. With those showers and storms, though, could see some localized flooding and some strong wind gusts. But then cooler with highs in the 80s for most spots for your Saturday and Sunday. Some spots in the upper 70s. And some drier air works its way in too. Some spots could have dew points in the upper 50s. That dew point's a measure of our moisture in the atmosphere. And when it gets in the 50s, it's a lot more tolerable than the 70-degree dew points that we've seen over the past couple of weeks that have made it feel just overly humid out there. There's the cold front moving its way south and east. More showers and storms back towards Wilmington to the coastline. Still seeing a good batch of showers and storms. To the north, less in the way of storms. But as this cold front continues to move south and east, it's kind of stalled right now. We'll see more storms by this afternoon and especially later today. Here's Carl Lake this morning. A lot of low cloud cover to start the day. Temperatures in the low to mid 70s for most spots, upper 70s for a few areas. Again, more storms possible by the afternoon. I'll break down that rain chance coming up in a bit. Cheers.
All right, thank you, Grant. We're taking a look here at your traffic report this morning, folks. I'll tell you what, in terms of delays, not too bad. For example, if you're headed into Raleigh from Wake Forest using US South, 1 South, only a 2-minute delay, so not too bad. But over on Knightdale, I mean, kind of a similar situation, right? We're talking about just a 1-minute delay taking I-87 south there. I've been kind of looking at different cameras that we have had in our area here. For example, we've got toll 540 there, specifically at Morrisville Parkway, where you're seeing it's actually pretty busy, but looks like there's some person that was pulled over there. Hopefully that doesn't mess up their morning commute. Elsewhere, as I'm looking, it looks like, no issues, right? We haven't seen crash icons for a while, so that's good. A lot of things have actually cleared up in the past hour or so. And then lastly, over at I-40 at Fayetteville Road, again, pretty clear for the most part, no slowdowns. But just a reminder, if you are going to be headed out and about, keep us on the radio, 101.5 HD3. We will keep you informed all morning long.
Meantime, we have breaking news we're following this morning. Durham fire crews responded to a vehicle on fire. This was just off Miami Boulevard. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker taken around 4 a.m. A truck was pulled off the road and into the driveway of a local business. The front grille was melted on that vehicle. No injuries were reported. Just before 11:30 last night, I-540 reopened after a crash killed a person. Sky 5 was over that scene and our team was on the ground as crews investigated and cleaned up. One person was killed in that crash near Leesville Road. It held up rush hour traffic for hours yesterday. We are working to learn what caused the crash and if anyone else was injured. Those delays extended for miles, Briar Creek Parkway east to Creedmoor Road during the evening commute. Potentially, you were caught in that as thousands of others were. A person is in custody this morning accused of shooting and killing someone on the Outer Banks. This happened yesterday afternoon at the Avalon Fishing Pier in Kill Devil Hills. A 15-year-old boy was also injured. His father says the boy is in critical condition now after being shot in the thigh. Police say the suspect was arrested in Southern Shores, but as for who that person is, that information has not been released just yet. New tariffs will go into effect in less than a week. Last night, President Donald Trump signed executive orders to impose tariffs for almost everything Americans import. All goods coming into the U.S. will be taxed at a universal 10% rate. That only applies to countries in which the U.S. exports more than it imports. A senior administration official says that applies to most countries. Dozens of countries that have trade deficits with America will also be facing tariffs of 15% or higher. These tariffs are set to take effect August 7th. And as a new date is set on those tariffs, WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live in Cary to explain what this could mean for businesses and shoppers alike.
Yes, Jeff, sweeping tariffs were set to go into effect today, but President Trump has pushed back that deadline, and now the effect on the prices that you pay here at the grocery store may be a little bit delayed. We spoke with economist Elizabeth Pancotti about which products may have higher price tags due to tariffs. She says no item is off this list: coffee, cars, even Christmas toys.
I do expect for families to see both higher prices and shortages on shelves heading into the holiday season here in the next few months.
Pancotti says prices for shoes and backpacks could also go up, but those increases will likely happen after back-to-school season is over. Even though these new tariffs are set to go into effect in less than a week, people may not notice price changes until next month or even as late as December. New tariff deadline has been set for next Thursday, August 7th. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Cary.
Breaking news we're following right now. Part of a Durham Street is closed after a water main break on West Knox Street. It has it closed from 9th Street to Iredell Street. Ali Kadlubar explains the traffic impacts and what's being done to fix it.
Yes, crews are prepping to get to work here. There's a lot of work to be done. You can see there's 2 holes in the road. That one hole we actually saw sink down within the span of an hour with water flowing out. And then the other hole, we saw water coming out around 6:30. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker. You can see water coming out, flowing down the road. Now, this stretch on West Knox Street between 9th and Iredell is closed as crews continue to work. We are working to find out how this will impact residents and businesses on this stretch. Reporting in Durham, Ali Kadlubar, WRAL News.
Republican National Committee Chairman Michael Whatley officially entered the U.S. Senate race in North Carolina, and that brings the number of Republican candidates in the race to 3 now. The winner will likely take on former Governor Roy Cooper in next year's election. Whatley has been a political operative and lobbyist for many years. He's the former chairman of the state GOP. He was President Donald Trump's choice as the Republican candidate, even though he has never run for office before.
Our campaign will be about North Carolina values. We will fight for a strong economy, safe communities, and America that is respected around the world. And we will win because we will fight every single day for North Carolina and the values that we hold so dear.
Whatley attacked former Governor Roy Cooper and former President Joe Biden in his announcement. He said their response to Helene was lacking. Whatley says he'll make sure that never happens again. Whatley will join 2 other Republican candidates who have already entered the race, Don Brown and Andy Nilsen. And Cooper announced Monday he would enter the race. Our NC Capitol team has a full assessment of Cooper, Whatley, and the other candidates. You'll find their complete coverage on WRAL.com and the WRAL News app.
Destiny Patterson here in the WRAL Live Center. I want to get you straight to this video out of Rochester, New York. This is a warehouse that's on fire, according to our affiliates there. I also want to give you another vantage point. This is the skyline over in Rochester. You can see just how large that fire really spans in that area. We're told that fire started around 10:30 last night, so they have been working this fire overnight, and the cause of that is still under investigation.
Destiny, thanks. Today, families in Enfield will be able to restock refrigerators after recent power outages. Food Lion Feeds will be hosting a food distribution event at 4 this afternoon. It will happen at the Food Lion store on McDaniel Street, and volunteers looking to help pack food bags there should get there by 1:30 this afternoon. The NFL is back. The preseason kicked off last night in Canton, Ohio, with the NFL Hall of Fame game. This year's Hall of Fame class was honored before the Los Angeles Chargers took on the Detroit Lions, and it was all Chargers after kickoff. Los Angeles won 34-7. First regular season game is September 4th, and the Philadelphia Eagles play the Dallas Cowboys. Then you'll be able to watch that game on WRAL. Prior to kickoff last night, players and coaches joined those mourning the victims of the deadly mass shooting in New York City earlier this week. Both teams held a moment of silence. A gunman opened fire at a Manhattan high-rise, killing 4 people, including an NYPD officer. The NFL headquarters are located in that building. Face off with a fox.
but if it's my dog or that fox, the fox is not going to make it.
Yeah, Durham couple springs into action to save their pet. How this is part of an ongoing problem in one neighborhood. And possible danger, a playset is being pulled off the shelf after a toddler died while playing with it. How a hook that is part of that set could lead to tragedy.
And still humid this morning. Dew points are in the 70s across the region, but we have some drier air that'll work its way in. I'll let you know when it arrives and how long the drier air lasts. Coming up. It's 8:13 now on this Friday morning. Temperatures are sitting in the mid to upper 70s across the region. It's also still humid out there. Raleigh at 77, 76 in Cary, Wake Forest at 77, Chapel Hill at 74, Clayton sitting at 77 degrees this morning, and it will be not quite as hot this afternoon. Highs in the upper 80s, some places close to 90 degrees. Our northern spots in the mid 80s. Better chances for showers and storms later today. With that, we get to see a threat for some localized flooding, also the possibility for some strong wind gusts. We'll talk more about the timing of those showers and storms and also some cooler air on the way coming up in a bit. Chris.
But in the meantime, Grant, let's talk about this, folks. If you're driving in from Roseville, something to keep in mind, there's this slowdown on Lewisburg Road. You can see right there if you're headed into town, it's going to maybe slow you down just a bit. In terms of what's happening there, probably just your Friday congestion. I don't see any crash icons. Elsewhere across the triangle, it's looking pretty clear for the most part there. A little construction happening in some places. Here at I-540 at 401, it's pretty busy, but no slowdowns. If things change, make sure you keep us on the radio with you. 101.5 HD3, we got you covered.
We also have a recall alert to tell you about this morning. Thousands of kids' play kitchen sets are being pulled off the shelves after a toddler's death. The brand Backyard Kids is recalling almost 200,000 of these KidCraft farm table model play sets over concerns that parts of the set could pose a strangling risk. A toddler died after their shirt got caught on one of the hooks from the set. The sets were sold on kidcraft.com, Amazon, and Walmart between 2018 and now. People who have it are asked to stop using it, remove the hooks, and contact Backyard Kids for replacement hooks. A Durham neighborhood is on the lookout after reports of people and pets being bitten by a fox. This happened in the Carolina Arbors neighborhood, and according to the sheriff's office, there have been 3 reports of fox attacks. There's that guy right there. A neighborhood safety group says several more people are reporting scary run-ins with the fox. WRAL sat down with one family who had to fight to get the fox off their dog.
Jumped on it. I must have been screaming. I was kicking it, jumping on it, stomping on it. And I realized, as I was doing that, I realized it was actually attached to her harness and not to her neck. So then I gave it a huge kick and finally it got off.
The neighborhood has now set up traps to try to catch this fox right here. You see in the picture. If you happen to run into a fox, you can call the sheriff's office and they ask you to call animal control. Now, investigators now say the explosion at this Harnett County townhome was intentional. The Angier police chief says the man who lived there shot a propane tank several times to cause it to explode. Investigators also found a last will and testament at the scene. The man was burned over 90% of his body. He's being treated at the UNC Burn Center. About 20 people were out of their homes because of that blast. All but one now have been able to return to their homes. A contractor is accused of peeping at people in a Raleigh neighborhood. Paul Brooks was arrested this week and charged with trespassing and secret peeping. Court records accuse him of looking into a woman's bedroom at night. A neighbor tells WRAL Brooks has done some work on at least 4 homes in that neighborhood.
And this is somebody that I trusted. Again, it feels like a breach of trust. You don't look in somebody's bedroom window when they're at home if you don't want to see something.
Brooks was released on a $3,000 bond. He's due back in court later this month. Millions of people are feeling the impacts of dangerous rainfall and flash flooding across the mid-Atlantic and Northeast. Video from New York shows flooded streets and subways. The city was hit with several inches of rain yesterday. Officials say they have already had to perform water rescues there. New York City and New Jersey have declared states of emergency, and severe flooding was also reported in Maryland. Starting today, millions of people with student loans will see their balance go up. A policy change from the Trump administration means people enrolled in the SAVE plan will now have interest added to their balance. Legal challenges paused those payments and froze the interest. The Education Department says people can still apply for leniency to delay monthly payments. President Trump is also bringing back the presidential fitness test. Surrounded by professional athletes, Trump signed an executive order that would reestablish the test in public schools. The fitness test was first introduced by President Lyndon Johnson in 1966. In 2012, President Barack Obama replaced the test with an assessment called the Fitness Gram that focused on bettering individual health. The Smithsonian National Museum of History has reportedly removed President Trump's name from an exhibit about impeachments, at least for now. Reports say the removal was part of a review of the Smithsonian's content for bias and comes after receiving pressure from the White House to frame the nation's history more positively. The exhibit also references the impeachments of Andrew Johnson and Bill Clinton. Barbecue, art, and family movie night, all on the agenda for the Triangle area. It's time to take a look at your out and about best bets for this weekend. The two-day Beer, Bourbon, and Barbecue Festival kicks off tonight in Cary at Kokobuth Amphitheater. You can enjoy samples of craft beer and bourbon, plus all the barbecue you want. Tickets are available for tonight and tomorrow at Kokobuth Amphitheater website. The Uproar Festival of Public Art in Orange County gets underway today. The festival will include artists from North Carolina and all across the Southeast. They'll compete for $21,000 in cash prizes voted on by the public and a panel of experts. The festival will run through August 23rd through downtown Chapel Hill, Carborough, and Hillsborough. And it's family fun at Moore Square tonight in Raleigh. The first Friday market and movie night starts at 5 p.m. The event will include food trucks, vendors, live music, and a free screening of Inside Out 2. It's at 7:30. And organizers say the lawn fills up quickly for movie night, so you should get there early and get your spot. For more weekend fun, just visit WRAL.com and search Out and About. And starting today, we're teaming up to make tails wag and hearts happy. Clear the Shelters is back right now through August 31st. Today, the SPCA of Wake County will have extended hours for this event. It'll be open from 8 a.m. to midnight and will waive adoption fees. For a full list of participating shelters and special adoption events, you can visit WRAL.com/shelters. All those weekend events going on. We want to see some nice weather. Definitely going to be a change in things. Grant Skinner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center right now with the storm threats for today.
Yeah, so Saturday and Sunday are looking okay for those plans that you have for the weekend, but tonight it's going to be a little bit dicey. A good chance for showers and storms, especially later in the day. And with that, we could see a couple of threats. So one is going to be that threat for damaging wind gusts, a level 1 of 5 threat in place for mainly areas to the south and west, and also an elevated flood threat that's going to be mainly for the Sandhills, where we'll see the majority of those scattered showers and storms. There's still going to be storms possible closer to the Triangle and points north, but the best chance will be further south. Here's Roxborough this morning. This is right along where the front is. A lot of low cloud cover, some patchy fog popping up in some spots this morning, so be careful on the roadways. Again, right along that front, you're going to have a lot of low cloud cover, and that front's also going to provide the lift for showers and storms as it slowly works its way south and east throughout the day today. Temperatures are starting mid to upper 70s. It's warm and it's very humid out there, so it's going to feel a little bit sticky heading out the door. But this will be the last day. It'll feel really, really sticky. Then for the weekend, you'll finally see the humidity drop off. It'll feel more comfortable. But again, with temperatures still sitting in the upper 80s and low 90s, you factor in the humidity, it's still going to feel hot this afternoon. Upper 90s, low 100s for those heat index values, but closer to the front or just north of the front, feeling a lot more comfortable. Up towards Roxborough, it feels like 87 by this afternoon, so a big shift from the intense heat we've had over the past week. Here's dual Doppler 5000. You can see things are pretty quiet out there right now. Some brief showers closer to the Sandhills, but otherwise, radar's going to stay pretty quiet for the time being. There's a small chance for showers that will increase into this afternoon. Here's Futurecast through around 2, 3 o'clock. More scattered showers and storms, mainly along the Sandhills. This run of Futurecast has a few more storms working their way up towards the Triangle and points to the north. Once the front finally passes through, though, cooler temperatures arrive. Temperatures in the low to mid 80s for the weekend. Chris.
I will not be angry about cooler temperatures, Grant. Thank you. Good morning, folks. Chris Lovingood here giving you your traffic report. So I'm looking at some congestion that's popping up here. This is on I-85 there in Durham. If you take it near the Durham Freeway, I should say it's southbound lane, but it has since cleared. It was red maybe 20 or so seconds ago. But as I'm looking here elsewhere, I'm seeing just kind of different perspectives from different cameras that we have access to here. Before we get to those, I will show you here for delays. If you're coming from Wake Forest, it looks like US 1 South, only 2-minute delay, not too bad there. Otherwise, it's green across the board, which is good. And I think the other camera I may have had might be down for the time being. I was trying to show you a little bit more about this area here. This is on Lewisburg Road. This is if you're coming from Roseville. It's been kind of going between red and yellow, so I would just give yourself absolutely like as much time as possible and to find a way around this, just so you don't miss any deadlines or anything of the sort or make yourself late for work. But if we look at the triangle of the whole, looking pretty good. I haven't seen a crash icon in about, give or take maybe 10 or so minutes. So things are obviously looking pretty smooth. But just as a reminder, as you're out on the road, tune us in 101.5 HD3.
In an unprecedented era right now, Chapel Hill football is entering a new phase with Bill Belichick as the head coach. How the program is growing despite the school preparing to cut costs by tens of millions of dollars. A fiery attack. A Virginia man is charged with attempted murder, accused of lighting a city councilman on fire. What court documents show.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
8:26 on our Friday morning. I'm Jeff Hogan, and Grant Skinner is over in the WRAL Severe Weather Center right now with the temperatures a touch cool.
Yeah, touch cooler today. Temperatures in the upper 80s, some places close to 90 degrees by this afternoon. A better chance for showers and storms later today. You'll see the storm icons popping up around noon, so some isolated storms through around 2, 3 o'clock. A better chance for storms by the late afternoon and into the evening. That could continue until late in the evening with some isolated storms lingering overnight. With those storms, a couple of threats. A level 2 of 4 flood threat, an elevated flood threat for areas closer to the Sandhills, back to the west towards Greensboro, and towards the coastline as well. So could see some areas of localized flooding, a better chance to the south, and a severe threat in place as well, level 1 of 5 threat for areas to the south and west. We could see some damaging wind gusts. After these storms move out, though, we'll see some cooler air move in and some drier conditions, which will make it feel more comfortable for the end of the weekend.
I-540 has reopened after a crash killed a person. Interstate opened before midnight. Sky 5 was over the scene as crews investigated and cleaned up. We were working to learn what caused the crash and if anyone else was injured. Tens of thousands of people caught in that. Breaking news this morning. Durham fire crews responded to a vehicle on fire off Miami Boulevard. This is video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker right around 4 this morning. The truck was pulled into the driveway of a local business. The front grille was melted. No injuries were reported. Sweeping tariffs were set to go into effect today, but President Donald Trump just backed that deadline up. The economist Elizabeth Pancotti says prices could go up for most products in the U.S. Shoppers may not notice a difference until next month or even as late as December. The new tariff deadline has been set for August 7th. Next on Fox 50, top contenders for the open Senate seat left behind by Tom Tillis.
Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
At breaking news we're following right now, a water main break. Broken water main shuts down a Durham road. We are getting you answers on when crews will be able to make those repairs.
And a good chance for storms later today after the storms pass. Some cooler and drier air. We'll break down that weekend outlook and how long the cooler air lasts coming up.
New tariffs ahead. The direct impact you could see from additional taxes on imports going into place next week. Supposed to be midnight last night. That did not happen. They are pushed back, so we wait and see. And bring you your Friday full of news. Thanks for being with us. I'm Jeff Hogan. As we continue here at 8:30 right now, Grant Skinner is over in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at how this weekend is going to play out.
Yeah, good chance for showers and storms today, so keep the rain gear handy, especially later today. Could see some localized flooding and some strong wind gusts. The front passes, some cooler air moves in, feeling a lot more comfortable than the past several days. Looking forward to that. Some drier air. Dew points in the upper 50s for some spots by Sunday. So that's going to be a huge relief. Here's Lewisburg right now. A lot of low cloud cover. We've had some spotty showers this morning, but most places have been dry. Those spotty showers and storms are mainly just left over from some storms in southern Virginia making their way through the area. Now it's pretty quiet this morning, but some spotty showers can't be ruled out. By this afternoon, a bit cooler, still going to feel a little bit hot out there, but temperatures in the upper 80s and low 90s. 88 Benson, Sanford at 89 degrees, 87 degrees Rocky Mount. Another chance for showers and storms later today. Could have some strong wind gusts. We'll talk more about the timing of those showers and storms coming up.
All right, thanks, Grant. Breaking news we're following. Part of a Durham street is closed right now after a water main break. This is happening on West Knox Street between 9th and Iredell Streets. It's been closed for more than an hour. Ali Kadlabar shows us the damage.
Yes, crews are prepping to get to work here. There's a lot of work to be done. You can see there's 2 holes in the road. That one hole we actually saw sink down within the span of an hour with water flowing out. And then the other hole, we saw water coming out around 6:30. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker. You can see water coming out, flowing down the road. Now, this stretch on West Knox Street is closed as crews continue to work. We are working to find out how this will impact residents and businesses on this stretch. Reporting in Durham, Ali Kadlabar, WRAL News.
New tariffs will go into effect in less than a week. They were expected to go into effect today, but were pushed back. Last night, President Donald Trump signed executive orders to impose tariffs for almost everything Americans import. The tariffs range from 10% to 41%. The rates will start August 7th, which will give some countries the chance to negotiate. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey has a look at what the new tariffs could mean for businesses and shoppers.
Sweeping tariffs were set to go into effect today, but President Trump has pushed back that deadline. Now the effect on the prices that you pay here at the grocery store may be a little bit delayed. We spoke with economist Elizabeth Pancotti about which products may have higher price tags due to these tariffs. She says no item is off this list.
It is going to be all consumer goods, from something as small as a banana. You know, there are steep tariffs on Brazil. Bananas and coffees are primarily imported. From there, all the way up to something as expensive as a car or a big industrial tractor or factory machine.
Pancotti says prices for shoes and backpacks could also go up, but those increases may not happen until after back-to-school season is over. Even though these new tariffs are set to go into effect in less than a week, people may not notice changes in prices until next month or even as late as December. That new tariff deadline is set for next Thursday, August 7th. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Cary.
Durham fire crews responded to a vehicle fire off Miami Boulevard this morning. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker right around 4 a.m. The truck was pulled off the street and into the driveway of a local business. The front grille was melted. No injuries were reported. An unprecedented era is how UNC Chancellor Lee Roberts describes the current state of college athletics. He spoke with WRAL after the Board of Trustees meeting. Earlier this week, UNC announced it is finding ways to cut costs by $70 million. The tightening of the belt comes as the school's athletic budget continues to expand. For example, Bill Belichick's salary is $10 million. Roberts says that revenue comes from different places.
The revenues for football come from sources that aren't available for other university priorities. We can't take money from the ACC television contract and spend it on the chemistry department.
UNC home football games are already sold out for the season. Spending on the UNC football program has increased dramatically over the past few years, like many universities. In 2017, the program spent almost $22 million. By 2021, that figure rose to $34.5 million. In 2024, it was almost $45 million. The program is projected to spend $185.4 million in the 2025-26 fiscal year. Nearly all of that revenue comes from television rights, sponsorships, ticket sales, and donations. Republican National Committee Chairman Michael Whatley has officially entered the U.S. Senate race in North Carolina. Whatley is the former chairman of the state GOP. He was President Donald Trump's choice as a Republican candidate, even though he has never run for office before. Whatley's announcement brings the number of Republican candidates in the race to 3. Republicans Don Brown and Andy Nilsen are also running. The winner will likely take on former Governor Roy Cooper in next year's election. Raleigh police have a man in custody after a bank robbery in the Village District. Police say the man walked into the Truist Bank on Oberlin Road yesterday morning. They say he passed a note to a teller demanding money. The teller handed over the cash and the man took off, and no one was hurt. Several people are without a home after fire destroyed their townhouses in Chapel Hill. That happened just before 6 yesterday evening on Kirkwood Drive. 2 units were damaged. Firefighters say no one was home at the time. So far, no word on what caused the fire, and the Red Cross is helping people who have been affected by this. Nash County hopes to have an announcement soon about when its animal shelter can reopen. The Pet Connection Center is currently closed for adoptions and surrenders. Last week, the shelter was fined over $9,000 after it failed an inspection. It was the second fine in 2 months' time related to animal welfare conditions. People hardest hit by last month's flooding in Kerrville, Texas, shared their emotional stories of loss.
The river that we've loved so much killed them. I'm sorry. We climbed into cedar trees, and I had to help my 66-year-old mom.
They spoke at a hearing yesterday to go over the emergency response. More than 130 people were killed in the floods. Texas state officials grilled local leaders. They pointed out one top county official was out of town when the flooding happened.
Everyone was here that day working their off, and you were nowhere to be found.
And 2 other key officials admitted they were asleep when the floodwaters began to rapidly rise. Devastation in Maryland after slow-moving heavy rains led to serious flooding there. Maryland officials say a boy died in a flash flood. Fire crews say he was playing in a grassy area when storm water came rushing down a hill and swept him away. Elsewhere in Maryland, 2 kids were rescued from a car that was caught in that flooding. You can see water level up over the tires of SUVs. Officials in Baltimore are now activating emergency operations centers to streamline their response. Childhood vaccination rates have dropped again. That's according to new data released by the CDC. The agency reported nearly 4% of U.S. kindergartners had an exemption for required vaccination last school year. According to the report, coverage for all vaccines, including the measles, was lower than the years before. Because of those exemptions, about 138,000 new students went without one state-mandated vaccine. A fiery and gruesome attack. Court documents show the man accused of setting a Virginia councilman on fire admits to the crime. What police say he told them after the arrest. And label changes, new requirements for prescription painkillers. How they could help stop addiction and overdoses. And we give you this live look right now, just out back of our WRAL studios. That's our tower cam there. And there's another chance for rain today. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner will explain which areas could see showers later this afternoon. She'll be back a little bit later. Grant Skinner's up next.
Destiny Patterson here in the WRAL Live Center. We're getting new information about a crash that killed someone along I-540. And Raleigh police say that they're working to identify that driver who died. They say that 2 vehicles veered off the road, hitting trees and catching on fire. They say an officer tried to put out those flames but wasn't successful. All of this started when one vehicle was trying to get over a Subaru, and then a Chevy pickup had to swerve, and they ended up overcorrecting. The driver of that Chevy died. Again, they're trying to identify that driver. The people in the Subaru are expected to be okay. At this point, Raleigh police tell us that there are no charges being filed, and this crash is still under investigation.
8:43 now on this Friday morning. This is the view from Zebulon. A lot of low cloud cover ahead of this front that'll bring a better chance for showers and storms across our area as we head later in the day. But right now it's just very warm and humid across the region with a mix of clouds and sunshine for some spots. The majority of the sunshine is to the south, closer to Southern Pines and Fayetteville. Low to mid 70s there. Roxboro's at 73 with increased cloud cover. Clinton at 78 this morning. Rocky Mount sitting at 78, while Goldsboro's at 79 degrees. So the shower and storm chances pick up later today. A 30% rain chance for now. That'll continue from around now till around 2, 3 o'clock. And then by the time we get around 4 or 5 p.m., the rain chance starts to pick up as the front gets closer to the area. More showers and storms into the evening and all the way through tonight as those storms continue to kind of move to the south and east. And with that, we could have some slow-moving storms that bring the possibility for some isolated flash flooding and also the possibility for damaging wind gusts as well. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner will have more on the timing of those storms and also when to expect into the weekend coming up in just a bit.
All right, thanks a lot for that, Grant. The man accused of setting a Virginia city councilman on fire is expected to make his next court appearance in September. Chauncey Hayes appeared in court for the first time yesterday. Hayes faces an attempted murder charge in Danville. It's about an hour and a half, I should say, northwest of Raleigh, just over into Virginia. Court documents claim he admitted to his role in the attack. They say he told police he doused City Councilman Lee Vogler in gas and then lit him on fire with the intent to kill him. City Councilman Lawrence Campbell reacted to the crime.
He's a hard worker. I remember when I first met Lee, we had a food program at our church, and he came over to speak running, and I got to know him. I want our citizens to pray for a man who loves his community.
Investigators say the attack is not politically motivated. They say it stems from some sort of personal matter. The FDA is making major changes to warning labels on prescription painkillers. Opioid medications will now carry stronger safety labels that better reflect the risk of long-term use. The updated labels will include new warnings about dose-related risks, withdrawal, and overdose reversal drugs. They'll also highlight potential interactions with nerve medications, as well as rare but serious risks like a brain injury after an overdose. The Pentagon has scheduled its first major test of the Golden Dome missile defense system. That's President Donald Trump's vision for a multi-billion-dollar space-based shield that can protect the entire U.S. President Trump has said once the Golden Dome is constructed, it will be capable of intercepting missiles from anywhere. According to two sources familiar with the matter, the Phase 1 test is set for just before the 2028 election. The Missile Defense Agency would carry out the testing. A possible fix to complaints of long wait times at a DMV in Wake County. A spending plan passed by state lawmakers this week pays for a larger DMV site in Fuquay-Varina. The plan also calls for new DMVs in Brunswick, Cabarrus, and Sampson counties. Governor Josh Stein can approve the spending plan, veto it, or let it become law without his signature. Today, Clayton Police and fire departments will come together to create trauma kits for children in crisis. Kits for Kids gives first responders special tools designed to help them interact with traumatized children during emergency calls. Officers, firefighters, and organization founders will assemble 300 kits today at the Walmart on Town Center Boulevard. First responders will then be able to use those kits during different calls to help children in distress.
Destiny Patterson here in the WRAL Live Center. Hiring slowed in July, and that was expected among